Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you all. Thank you all. My name is Holly Holiday, and if you are on with us, then you are on with Win with Black Women. It must be Sunday night, y'all. So it's time for us to get it on and popping. You already know what to do as you all are loading in. Let us know where you are calling in from, where you are zooming in from. We are so excited to see each and every one of you from Dallas, Texas, from Cambridge, Massachusetts. Oh, lots of Texas in the house. Come on, Atlanta and Brooklyn and LA and DC and New England and Birmingham, Alabama. Uh, Oh, it's going so fast. New Orleans, San Diego, Tallahassee, Magnolia, Mississippi. Come on through. Somebody from the SIP say amen. Queens, New York, Alpharetta, Georgia, Stockbridge, Georgia, Lebanon, I think that was Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, Pelham, Texas, Frisco, Texas, Chi-Town. I saw Louisville, Kentucky, Richmond, Virginia, Melbourne, Florida. Come on, West Coast people. We see you in the house. Somebody said they're from Ontario, California, from Tulsa, Oklahoma, from Columbia, South Carolina, from Tulsa, Oklahoma, from St. Louis, Missouri, my home state. Come on, Bay Area. We see you checking in. We want to make sure that we are able to get each and every one of you on tonight. And if you don't know, or if you didn't get the notice, or you forgot that we were going to be on tonight and you don't see your friends on, you better go ahead and let them know that we are here because I don't know if you have heard, I don't know if you are aware, but since we last met, some big things have happened, which means we will definitely be talking about them tonight on When with Black Women. Chief amongst them, you're going to get the absolute lowdown about what is the deal with the big, beautiful bill. I like to think of as the big, beautiful mess, but we're going to hear all about it. And this is when we are going to need our whole network involved. Yes, for the big, beautiful mess. Thank you, Natalie, for chiming in. That's Natalie Shorters joining us from Virginia. Douglasville, Georgia, the big ugly mess. Yes, big bunch of bull. I'll take that, Beverly Cooper Wiles. Big bunch of bull. We are going to be doing and talking about all of that. But you also know that this is our last Sunday call in June. And so we have been doing all the things. I know many of you I've had a chance to see because you joined us at various places on the State of the People tour. We have Essence Fest coming up this week. You all probably know and thought we forgot, but we didn't. We know that June is Pride Month, so we want to make sure that we are celebrating all of our sisters that are part of the LGBTQ community. And of course, where would we be if we were not talking about Black Music Month? So we got all the things happening tonight as we wrap up June. Then we'll enjoy our 4th of July holiday and move in towards our third quarter. Can you believe we are already in the third quarter? Well, we are. Well, let's go ahead and get this thing on and popping. I want to make sure that we have our uh spiritual open person. I don't know if we see him, but it doesn't matter because we know how to pray. So we're going to see where we end up as far as that is concerned. Until then, what I do want to make sure that you know is I want to make sure you know what in the world you have joined. So welcome to Win with Black Women. As our good sister Joteka talks about, Win with Black Women is a love letter from Black women to Black women. Win with Black Women is a network of Black women leaders who volunteer their time and talents in their individual capacity to support other Black women. We are an intentional collection of intergenerational, intersectional Black women leaders throughout the nation. That's right. Everybody on this call is a leader. And I'm going to tell you how I know. I know because they're Black women. And I don't know about you, but I don't know a Black woman who doesn't lead something. Whether they're leading the carpool line, the neighborhood watch, or industries or organizations, or let's face it, the world, Black women are leaders. We are business leaders. We are political strategists. We are student leaders. We are faith leaders, tech leaders, labor leaders. We are pioneers in sports, music, entertainment, movement leaders, and beyond. And tonight, and every other Sunday night this year, we are coming together in our personal capacities to stand in full support. That is 10 toes down for for women and all people who identify as Black women. Why do we do this? Well, we got three very important goals, and if y'all are ever wondering, well, why isn't When with Black Women talking about this, or when are we going to talk about this? If it's not related to our goals, we may not talk about it. That's what we got after hours for. So y'all can talk about whatever you want. But in the main call, we answer our three goals, which are very simply the elimination of racist and sexist attacks on Black women, support for Black women running for elected office at the federal level and local levels, and elevating the agenda, the image, and most importantly, the collective power of Black women. You all know that we started this call. Can you believe we're coming up on 5 years on August 4th, 2020? And so we have had a lot of history, and what started with 90 ballooned to 44,000. And now, if you count everybody in our network, we have nearly 180,000 Black women standing strong. We're going to need every single one of them as we get through this next week. And we know that not only are we strong in our network, we are strong online. We have had over a 223 billion reach. So we know we are powerful, we are strong. We are going to kick this call off as we do every single call with our spiritual opening. And I am so excited to have my soror, my sister, one of our true angels, Reverend Sherry. Sherry, I got to get myself back to Chicago so I can get me some of that good food too, because they don't know that part. But they do know you as a prayer warrior, as a spiritual warrior. So please get our call started the right way.
Praise the Lord, everybody. What a blessing it is to be here tonight. I am so grateful that God has made choice of me to be among sisters, true sisters. You know, God created us. He created Win with Black women. And so tonight I'm glad to be on. I'm glad you reached out. It's been kind of a tough time for me in that we buried our mother, Reverend Krista Austin, and I believe it was June the 7th. We buried our mother, and it's just not been the easiest time, but we're getting through it because of the prayers. We're getting through it because we know that the God we serve is able, that we can go to God about anything. Been thinking about the sisters through these perilous times that we are going through. So many different situations. But I want you to know tonight that we have to take heart because we have a God that is able, a God that will see us through anything. I remember back when we first got started, and I remember one night our dear sister, mother, Cicely Tyson was on, and she challenged us that night. She said, "You all got to do the work." And so this is what we are continuously doing. No matter what's going on with us individually, there's this big picture that's going on for all of us. And I want you to know tonight that there is a word from the Lord, and we love our sisters. Our Win with Black Women says we are something special. Tonight, I come to give you a brief word of scripture. My dear sisters, the strong women of this nation, the women that are carrying the nation and the situations, the burdens. Oh my God, our God is faithful. He is able. And I'm going to Isaiah, the 43rd chapter, and I'm going to begin at the first verse. But now, thus saith the Lord, that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. When thou pass through the waters, I will be with thee. And through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flake kindle upon thee. For I am the Lord thy God, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior. I gave Egypt for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Saba for thee. Let me tell you, sisters, that was the first three verses of 40, the 43rd chapter of Isaiah. If he said it, he'll do it. God is not a man that he'll lie. I've trusted God my whole life. I've tried him. We've tried him as a people. We have tried him as women, Black women, and we know tonight that he shall never fail us. And we must keep our strength up. We must keep our spirit up. We must never give up. This fight is on till the finish. And whatever God put our hands to do, let us do it. Let us do it with the confidence to know that this same God that said, I'll be with you. Oh, yes. He is getting me through each day. And I want you to know there's nothing too hard for God. There are some people going through situations with jobs, situation with finances, situations with our children and our family, sickness, death, all manners of things. And then this nation has the nerve to be on the verge of having a breakdown, a nervous breakdown with poor leadership, with all manners of evil going on that's pressing on every hand, but God. And so tonight we look to the hills which cometh our help, because our help come from the Lord. And we just going to go to the throne for just a few minutes and ask God to look down on us, ask God to smile on us tonight. Gracious Father, we thank you tonight for yet another day and yet another meeting of your chosen women tonight. We thank you tonight that you made choice of us. And oh God, there is nothing too hard for you. We thank you tonight that if it had not been for you who was on our side, we don't know where we would be. But tonight we know where we are. We safe in your arms. Your arms of protection, your mighty arms of protection, oh God. And we can cast all of our cares on you because you care for us. Your grace is sufficient tonight. Your mercy endureth tonight, and your love is unconditional. We love you for it tonight. So thank you for looking on us tonight. The Black women, the win with Black women. Why are we winning, God? Because we got you on our side. Father, you predestined us before the foundation of this world to do just what we're doing right now. And so, God, we won't tarry. We just ask that you look on our nation, look on our people, look on our children. Keep your loving arms around us, God. Keep us from all hurt, harm, and danger tonight. And we ask that the work you put our hands to do, that we do it and we do it well, and that you will bless it, and the people will be blessed for it. And we shall give your name the praise. In the mighty, matchless name of Jesus. Thank God. Amen. Lord, bring it to pass. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. That was just beautiful. And I
Bless you.
hope you are seeing the love in the chat. You and Pastor
Yes.
Austin are a true part of the Win with Black Women family, woven
Amen.
into the fabric of our history from the beginning. And so our
From
heart
the beginning.
and our love go out to you and your family as you deal with the loss of your mother. And by the way, if you all do not follow them and you miss seeing the funeral service or the program, y'all did that right, okay? Because the hat and
Amen.
the gorgeousness that was y'all's mama, I wasn't ready,
Amen.
but it was gorgeous. You all did a great thing for
Amen.
her. So
Amen.
amen for
Love
that.
you so much.
Love you back,
Love you so
support.
much.
Well, we're going right into that. I think I started this conversation tonight by discussing the fact that when you come to Win with Black Women, you're experiencing a love moment, literally a love letter, if you will. And I'll be darned if the first person that we're going to hear from tonight, Miss Jessica Care Moore, didn't follow right in our footsteps with her book, Your Crown Shines. And if you go and look at this, and this is again, I love the fact that we're doing so many books and featuring so many books that are for young people because they're trying to erase us, y'all, and this is how we keep us present. So we do have a video, but I know your time is short, so I wanted to give you a chance to share your crown shines. And I love the fact that people are already referring to it as a love letter. So,
Thank you.
how did this come about? Where, how did we get here, and
It's,
were you moved to do this?
it's all Win with Black women's fault. It's to take a Edie's fault. It's Oprah Winfrey's fault. And I'm in the middle of a performance. I'm in Boston, headed over to in the middle of a gig at BAM's festival in Boston. Shout out to them. These sisters put together this great festival in Boston. But this is a love letter from Win with Black Women because Jateka Edie asked me to write a poem for Ketanji Brown Jackson. God bless her.
Mm-hmm.
Her at all costs. And I came on the call to celebrate her. Oprah was on the call, and if you guys were on any of you women were on the call, you know that Miss Oprah Winfrey shared the poem all over the place, Oprah Daily and everything. And I got a lot of offers, and so it wasn't intentional to be a children's book, but it was meant to be a children's book. And I've been
Mm.
with the country with the book. The book just came out this week, and please make this look at this. I just need to say, Bear Coulter. This
Oh,
book
it's
is
so
magic, and the
beautiful.
little girls and the young boys and the women that are showing up to hear the poem, because Dare Coulter took my poem that I wrote for y'all to celebrate Ketanji Brown Jackson and turned it into visual magic. Your sets are, your counselor told you your sights are set too high. This is it's
Oh,
stunning,
that's
stunningly.
gorgeous.
I'll come back on and read the whole book for y'all because I love this community so much. But somebody might have told Sister Rosetta Tharpe that Black girls do not play electric guitar. This is
Mm.
normal children's book. This is a anointment. This is, and we need this more than ever in our culture to show little girls, and we need, that they're possible, but we need joy because they're trying to destroy
Amen.
joy. But we're gonna be unshook, unbothered, poised for position. That's what we're gonna be.
Yes.
The book is beautiful.
It
Please
is
go
beautiful.
get it before it get. I'm sure it get banned at some point. But this is the most important. This is the back of the book. We see you.
Oh.
I'm full. I'm full, Holly. Like I'm full. I've been with children all week with this book, and it's the best thing that's happened to my life in a long time. I've been in front of adult audiences for 30 years, and this is the audience I've been waiting for. So
Oh, I know
can't
they
wait to sign up for
just,
your nieces, your nephews, and for yourself. Please go get it. It's available at
yes.
so, and I love y'all so much, and thank you.
Well, you all know what to do. We know what to do. We're going to close this out We want to make sure that you all buy the book. You can buy it from your Black booksellers. You can buy it
Mhm.
on Amazon.
Yep.
You can buy wherever you
No, don't buy
need
on
to buy
Amazon.
it.
Buy on bookshop.org.
Bookshop.org. There you
They
go. Get me
support
straight
independent
now. Get me
booksellers.
straight. Don't let me
Yeah,
out
yeah.
here telling the
They got
people
all
no
the money.
crazy
Yeah,
places.
bookshop.org. And because they celebrate.
Bookshop.org.
Yeah.
Bookshop.org. Thank you, Joy Brown, for putting that in the chat for us. Bookshop.org to
Yeah.
get this beautiful, beautiful book. We
Yeah.
are all about the love here, and we
I
were
love
here
that.
during the birth, so of course we want to be here during its life.
Let's
You
get it.
know, so we're
Yeah.
now going to be part of celebrating the life of this book, the life of this poem, and the blessing that it will be for all of us, but to also all of our children. Let's make sure every child has this book. I
Yeah.
know I'm going to probably buy a couple of copies. As a matter of fact, I'm headed to a family vacation. I think I need to pick
Okay.
it up on the
Come on.
way.
And I'll be touring and I'll come to your schools and I'll come talk to your babies. If you got groups like that, you
I
work,
love it.
please hit me up.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, let's go to the video so
Yeah.
folks can get the full measure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
I
taking
appreciate you. I
time
love
out.
you.
Listen, y'all know what a rock star Jessica is. So
Yeah.
when she tells you she's supposed to be performing, somebody is waiting for her to do something
Somebody in the
great,
way.
but she wanted to take time out to be with us.
I
So
did.
go ahead and do your gig, girl. We don't want
Okay.
to keep you from that. We're going to
Okay.
play the video and we're going to buy the book.
Love you. Okay. Bye.
Love you.
Thank you so much.
All right, roll the video, Holly.
Let their light shine despite what obstacles are put in their way. Inspired by the appointment of Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, Your Crown Shines highlights the achievements of Black women pioneers and encourages readers to change the world one day. And joining me now for more on this is poet and author Jessica Care Moore. Jessica, thank you so much for being with us this morning and for sharing your book with the world. It's been almost 3 years since you released the original poem. Oprah loved it. What made you turn it into a children's book?
I don't think I had a choice after Oprah loved it. She was amazing. I was on this incredible call, Women with Black Women. And after that, Oprah heard the poem. She asked for it to be sent to her. She shared it on Oprah Daily. She quoted her favorite lines of the poem. The poem was written just to celebrate Ketanji Brown Jackson. It wasn't originally supposed to be a children's book. And now it has become this very powerful tool. I've been on tour for the last week all over the country. And not just little girls, but also little boys have shown up. And I have crowns that I give the little ones when they come to the so yeah, it's not just for little girls. The women that have come to my readings have really been inspired by this poem. And so it's just about anyone who's trying to reach a space that they don't realize that seems difficult. You don't see yourself in it. Maybe you've never seen a Black woman Supreme Court Justice, but Ketanji saw herself. So being our young people in general, being able to see ourselves in the future, see ourselves in spaces that never existed for us before is really important, especially in this political climate. I'm really proud that I wrote this poem for Ketanji Brown Jackson. Proud of her, what she's doing as a leader in politics right now. We need her. We need her voice. But little girls need to know that anything's possible. I'm a poet for 30 years, and no one told me I'm a Black girl from the west side of Detroit. No one said you could be a poet for a living. But I saw myself in that space. And so I used my imagination to make my life possible. And so just being an example in that way, and it's been a blessing to be around the little girls and that young audience that I've been wanting to be in front of for such a long time.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So we're going to continue on. We have, while we are leaning into the joy that is Ketanji Brown Jackson, we do have another side to that coin in terms of the Supreme Court. We have joining us Demetria McClain from the Legal Defense Fund, NAACP Legal Defense Fund. Well, the
I know.
court has given us a lot this week. Not all of it fantastic. So thank you for joining us. Please let us know what we need to know. Let us know what the rundown is and how we can position ourselves. What should we be expecting?
Yeah, well, I love the fact that we were talking about joy in the previous section. So let's
We
just
had to
keep
start with
that,
something to
let's
fortify
keep
ourselves.
that in mind, Holly. Let's keep that in mind because
We will.
Friday was a gut punch. Friday was tough. We had a lot of decisions come out. The decisions come out by July 1st. That's why we had so many on Friday. And so there are several, and I know there are a lot of speakers on your agenda for today. So I won't go through the details of all of them, but I'll hit the highlights of ones that may be on people's minds the most. And let's just simply start with Trump versus CASA. All right. That's that birthright citizenship conglomeration of cases. And so the administration's attempt to actually deny citizenship to all the children who were born in the United States, you guys, that is unquestionably unconstitutional. Okay. And so I want people to understand that Friday's decision was a procedural one, a disturbing one. Don't let me not say that, but it was a procedural one nevertheless. And so the court has nonetheless created a real risk that is actually blatantly unconstitutional with their executive order that's going to go into effect in many parts of the country within after 30 days, not the whole country, but parts of the country. All right. And so now the lower courts in each of those consolidated birthright citizen cases that are before the court, the Supreme Court, they've got to determine the actual scope of the injunction that they issued. All right. But be clear, like I said, this was a procedural issue. And let me just back up for a second and just explain how much the administration, through executive order, tries to sidestep Congress. Because while this was going on and the Supreme Court was deciding this case, in Congress, there was already a really bad bill called the NORA Act. And the NORA Act was trying to do exactly what Trump is doing in this case, which is making decisions by federal courts only apply to that particular region where that court sits and has jurisdiction instead of the nation. Okay. And so trust me that we are doing everything at LDF to make sure that no child is ever subjected to this illegal executive order. And in order to ensure that every single child that is born in America is entitled to citizenship, what did LDF do Friday? What we did was we joined the ACLU, Maine, ACLU, New Hampshire, the Asian Law Caucus, Democracy Defenders Fund, and we filed a national class action lawsuit challenging the Trump administration's executive order restricting birthright citizenship. Because you had different courts make these decisions, and now the Supreme Court says, no, it's not going to impact the whole country, only these little areas, okay? And so that's why we filed this class action. And we filed this new lawsuit in response to the Supreme Court ruling in order to ensure that protection for all babies born in the United States gives them citizenship. And folks, we know about the citizenship thing and the 14th Amendment because way back when it was the Dred Scott case when Black people were denied citizenship. So this means a lot to us, a lot to us. And so the 14th Amendment makes it very clear that all children born in this country are entitled to the rights and protections of American citizenship. And so that's what is going on with that particular case. We had another case that came out. This particular one is one that LDF actually argued before the Supreme Court. And this case, I don't know if folks are on the call from Louisiana. Shout out to the folks from Louisiana. The case is Louisiana versus Calais. All right. And so the Supreme Court issued an order. This was a court case regarding redistricting. Okay. And the Supreme Court in this particular case did something that they very seldom do, right? They call for re-argument of the case. That signals the significance of this case and the future of fair representation. This was indeed a redistricting case. So most importantly, the current congressional map in Louisiana has two majority Black districts for which community members fought with LDF support, and that remains in effect. Okay, for a long time, they only had one district where Black people could elect the candidate of their choice. And they had two based on this map that was created. It was a hard fought battle by Black Louisianans, okay? And so this re-argument of this case gives the court yet another opportunity to uphold what two lower courts and decades of precedent have already recognized. And what is that? That is that states must comply with the Voting Rights Act, and they may consider race alongside other factors when they do so. So for years, Louisianans have organized, they legislated, they litigated for the promise of a fair congressional map. And Black Louisianans have faced generations of discrimination in their political representation. And so that's what this particular case does. It says, hey, come back and re-argue this case. And we think we will be re-arguing it in the fall, most likely. So right now in Louisiana, you actually have Representative Fields representing Louisianans in that second district that was created. But these folks who actually self-identify as non-African American voters of Louisiana, they're the ones who brought this case, trying to say that the second district is a violation. So that's what that's all about. Jateka, how you doing today? It's a whole bunch of more, there are a whole bunch of more cases that came out Friday. Happy to go on. There is the Department of Homeland Security case where the Supreme Court actually allowed the federal government to deport people to countries that they have no ties to, no ties at all. And folks, I just want all my sisters here to know that this is impacting Black people, okay? We have been fighting for Haitians in America, Haitian Americans. People are being picked up and taken to places without due process, okay? And just because you're not a citizen doesn't mean you don't have due process. The Constitution gives you due process, but this case is taking people to countries, has the ability for the administration to take people to countries where they never have been or where they may very well face major prosecution and harm and stress and possibly irreparable harm to their lives. Holly, I got some more for you. I got some more bad news. I can keep going. You tell me.
I know you do, but listen, before we keep going, I want to make sure that we get the video in. And then I know Joteka wants to join this conversation. So let's show the video and then we'll bring Joteka into the conversation. I wanted to make sure that we got some clarity on what's happening in the courts, because also joining us tonight is Congresswoman Maxine Waters, who's coming up next. And I know that what's happening in the court is putting even more pressure on us to make sure that the Congress is able to try to address some of these things. So let's show the LDF video. We'll bring Joteka in, and then we will. I know, look, already, Mama Maxine, they're ready for you, Congresswoman Maxine Waters. All right, Holly, with the video.
Welcome back to Politics Nation. In a set of decisions released on Friday, the Supreme Court dramatically expanded the powers of President Trump and granted him a series of wins as it wrapped up its term. Joining me now to discuss the implications of the recent rulings is the president of the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, Janae Nelson. Janae, first I want to thank you for being here, and I want to ask you what the rulings mean for Trump's policies on birthright citizenship. The Supreme Court handed Trump a clear victory by stopping judges from issuing nationwide injunctions that block his executive orders, narrowing birthright citizenship. From a legal and civil rights perspective, what flags and restrictions do you have over this ruling?
Oh, Reverend, it's so good to be here. There are many, many flags, and anyone who cares about the sanctity of our Constitution should be deeply concerned by this case, Trump versus CASA. So one thing I want to be clear about is this was a procedural decision. This did not determine the merits of the case. So the court said nothing about whether Trump can do what he tried to do in Executive Order 14160, which was to end birthright citizenship as we know it.
It didn't address birthright citizenship.
It did not address the underlying matter. What it addressed is how expansive can a court's remedy be when you are challenging a nationwide policy that comes through an executive order. So in this case, the court said that federal courts don't have the expansive power to address an issue that does affect every American, or every want to be American in this case. They don't have the power to do that unless you prove that that is the only way to give relief to the plaintiffs, to the litigants in the case. If you can do something more narrow, the court is saying the courts have to be narrow. So they have constricted what we've known to be the equitable powers of the courts since the Judiciary Act of 1789. So this is actually a marked departure from what we understand courts' authority to be. But what's really important here for people to know is Trump issued this executive order on day one. He was challenged on day one. And 3 courts issued injunctions stopping this order from going into effect across the country. The court has now said those broad injunctions don't stand. That doesn't mean that those same 3 courts can't issue injunctions again on a narrower basis. We at the Legal Defense Fund, along with the ACLU and others that we're litigating with, also have an injunction in the First Circuit. That injunction hasn't been touched. So the idea that he won is true, but does that change the fact that you can still push back and hold off this attempt to rewrite our Constitution through an executive order? Absolutely.
Joe Jacob.
Hey,
Welcome back.
everybody. Thank you. I am fresh out of the friendly skies and I am on the ground here in Washington, D.C., where things are not so friendly. Hey. Hi, everybody. How are you? I see you in the chat. It's just really good to be here. I know you have been held down by our good sister Holly Holiday, but we are super excited. Well, we're not excited that we need to have this conversation, but we're excited about who is going to bring us this next conversation. Because as we know, and as Demetria has already outlined, we have a lot happening in our country. We have the U.S. Supreme Court, all of these rulings from Louisiana to birthright citizenship, all of these things, against us every day. And thank goodness for Demetria McCain and Janae Nelson and every single lawyer, Judith Brown Dianis. I could just start naming all these Black women lawyers that are at the helm. But we also have in Congress, what we have is a real threat. There's nothing big and beautiful about this bill. It is horrible and ugly. And what we know is that there's a bill moving through Congress, and we're about to have a conversation with someone who's going to break it down for us. But what I can tell you is that it is dangerous, and we need all hands on deck right now. This is very serious. There's a lot of trepidation that will happen to our communities, and we know we will feel the pain first. But just to give you a highlight, 1.3 trillion will be cut from food assistance. 16 million people will lose health care. 5 million people will face food insecurity. 1 in 4 nursing homes may be closed. And over 300 rural hospitals, I'm from rural South Carolina, are at risk of being closed. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There's more. And so thank you, Sister Demetria, for breaking down what's happening in Supreme Court, because we're going to need the Supreme Court to continue to fight and lawyers to fight in the courts for us. And we're also going to have to fight what is in Congress. And joining us, I'm going to do a quick sound check, is, we all know her as Auntie Maxine. She is the congressional representative, our Congresswoman representing Los Angeles, Congresswoman Maxine Waters. She is on via phone. Hopefully we'll be able to put her photo up. Congresswoman Maxine Waters, I'm not sure if you're able to come off of mute. Well, while we're waiting for her to come off of mute, I want to bring up another dynamic sister who is no stranger to Win with Black Women. She's been. Oh, there you are. Hi, Congresswoman.
Yes, we're unmuted now. Thank you so very, very much. I've been listening, and I want to say to Jateka and to all of you who put time and effort in every week to help educate all of us in this country, black men, women, etc., on these important issues. And that's what's so desperately needed, people to understand their government and how it works and who's doing what. So we just got great information about a couple of the Supreme Court cases which absolutely appear to be unconstitutional. And you heard why that is so, and we were helped to understand the procedural matter as it relates to birthright citizenship, as opposed to the executive order of the president being outright able to just basically forget about the Constitution and somehow haven't gotten the Supreme Court to support his executive order. That's not true. And the way it was described to us was in these the lower courts, the region that is affected can be maybe a determination, but not the whole country. And we've got a long way to go in this fight. But let me just move just for a few minutes to what's going on with the big, ugly bill that the president calls the big, beautiful bill. It is a terrible bill. And you just heard someone that was on that talked about all of the ways that our communities are going to be decimated, hurt, because the cuts that are in this bill. Right now, we voted it out of the House. It went over to the Senate. The Senate even tried to cut more out of something like Medicaid. There's been a ruling that's kind of a complicated ruling that was done called the Byrd Rule. And so they've gotten past some of those complications, and the bill was voted out, narrowly voted out. I think they had only one vote to create the majority. And now it's coming over to the House. We were supposed to vote on that bill maybe by Monday. That's not going to happen. We've still got a little ways to go. As a matter of fact, Schumer over on the Senate side has said that what they were going to do before that bill is voted out over to the House, they're going to ask for the reading. That's a delay method that is used when you're trying to hold it up, maybe to be able to do some more negotiations. That's a 1,000-page bill, and it will take about 15 hours to read the bill. And so while that is going on, we should flood the internet, flood the telephones, flood the mail with everything that we possibly can to all of the members, all of the Democratic members for sure, but hit the Republican members also, because what I have discovered is that there are more white people on the street protesting than black people. In my own district, I've been to all of these protests, and in my own district, there was a protest in front of Elon Musk's place, and I want you to know there were 4,000 white people out there. There was another protest in the most conservative part of my district called Torrance, California, in the South Bay. There were 10,000 white people, only a sprinkling of black people. And as you know, the protests that have been going on that were organized by Indivisible, that organization, etc., white people are coming out all over the place. What it tells you is on issues like Medicaid, they are more dependent even than we are because of the cost of medical care. And it was just mentioned, some of these rural hospitals will have to close. They won't be able to operate without Medicaid. And so this is a big issue. Medicaid is a huge issue. And also food stamps. Food stamps. You know, this president with his executive orders believes that he could either eliminate or cut back significantly on these kinds of programs, thinking somehow that people of color benefit more, the urban areas benefit more, and he's going to stop that. Well, I want to tell you, I do believe that some of these in other areas are having buyer's remorse, and they're understanding that this is going to hit them too. That's why we see so many whites out there. I'm told that there are some people who are urging blacks not to participate in the protest. No, don't do that. You. What I'm saying is, don't pay attention to that. kind of advice. Get on the street. This is a street fight. This is a fight. Talk to us of how to do this kind of fight with the civil rights movement. You can't sit at home and hope somebody else is going to do it, or even the internet. Use the internet, but get on the street. Create our own protest. Join other protests, because this is a fight of the people against a dishonorable, crooked, dangerous president of the United States, out to change the American government as we know it and understand it, and doesn't give a darn about the Constitution or democracy. And so take a look and watch what Schumer is doing as they, again, do the reading of the bill, where our supporters on the Senate side, the good senators, will be taking on the issue and will be explaining it in depth. And hopefully, when we get it, and I think it's inevitable that we're going to get it over on the House side, that we will be able to continue that kind of debate. And God bless us if we can get a vote from a few Republicans to hold it up. But that's where we are now. A bad bill on its way to being supported. If it gets to the president's desk, we are going to be hurt. These communities are going to be devastated. And the shoe hasn't dropped yet. And people don't really know or understand oftentimes what we're telling them. They think somehow, oh, this is going to be worked out. They can't do this. They can't do that. No, we're dealing with mandatory right now. But yes, all of these cuts can take place. And so I want us to join the fight, get on the streets, join the protests.
Well, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, you have let us know what we need to do. You have broken it down for us. That is why we love you. That is why we appreciate you. And I want to give a big shout out to all of the caucus of the Congress, the Congressional Black Caucus, and also making sure I give a special shout out, because you talked about our warriors in the Senate, giving a special shout out to Senator Angela Alsobrooks and Senator Lisa Blunt Rochester, two Black women that are holding it. Yes, ma'am, they are holding it down in the Senate for us. Well, Congresswoman, I know hopefully you can stay with us as long as you can, but I'm going to bring up another dynamic woman who you know very well, who is on the front lines, our good sister, Karen Finney. You all know her. She is a communications extraordinaire. You can see her on CNN, on MSNBC, all the stations and channels. But she is going to really break down for us action that we could take. Karen, you just heard Congresswoman Maxine Waters and Demetria break down what is happening. Tell us, what are the messages that we need to know? And most importantly, what are the actions?
So, well, thank you so much, Joteka, and thanks everyone for being here. And, Congresswoman Maxine, she laid it out. And like she said, this is ugly. But it's also a betrayal, because when you really dig into what this bill does, it's really shifting money from middle income, low income people and using cuts to things that we care about and we need to finance a $3 trillion tax cut for billionaires. So I'm calling this a billionaire boondoggle, because that's really what it is. And it's really shameful. It is, it's being referred to, the cuts to SNAP food assistance that we're talking about, the largest in the history of the program. Think about that for a minute. Under Joe Biden, our Democrats led the way and we cut child poverty in half in 2021, right? And look at where we are. We didn't have Republican support to keep that. We could have kept that going. And here we are now. It's so one of the things though I want us to remember, as it's really important. Remember that the budget cuts we're talking about, this is happening on top of cuts that Trump has already made through DOGE, through his executive actions. And I'm going to give you an example. USDA cuts about $1 billion in federal funding that goes to food banks. So think about this in a community. In a given community, if you're going to cut SNAP and impact poor people or people who need those programs in a community, and you've already cut from the food bank. So you're right. I mean, think about the multiplier effect when we're talking about these cuts on top of other cuts. Consider if you live somewhere that, maybe you relied on, you needed help from FEMA. Well, they're not coming. And then on top of it, let's say you get cut from Medicaid or your healthcare costs go up. So I want us to be remembering that it's the whole plan of what he's been doing, this Project 2025 that he's implementing to, this boondoggle for our billionaires that is really going to do a lot of harm to a lot of Americans. And as Congresswoman Maxine Waters said, they know it. And that's the other message I want us to talk about, because we don't talk enough about the fact that Republicans themselves know how bad this bill is. You wouldn't have the kinds of, negotiating and back and forth. Someone like a Josh Hawley knows cuts to rural hospitals, cuts to SNAP programs in their states. They know it. So this is a betrayal because they know what they're doing. They're trying to put one over on us. And that's why we've got to keep making our voices heard and make sure that they know that we're not going to stand for it, that we are not going to let them, they're trying to use all kinds of procedural gimmicks to try to, because the math is not mathing and they know it. And so again, I think calling them out, holding them accountable, they know what they're doing. They know the damage that this is going to do, particularly because it's also going to put a lot more pressure on states. And state budgets are already in trouble. So they know what they're doing. The cumulative effect we have to remember of these cuts on top of other cuts, and the fact that this boondoggle really is a shifting of money and resources away from low income, middle income, most of us, to the upper 1%, basically. That's how they're paying for that $3 trillion tax cut. And they're going to raise the debt. So in terms of what we can do about it, and we'll get you, Joe Chickie, you mentioned some of the specifics about the bill. We'll get you all that. But I just wanted to share kind of how I want you thinking about some of these numbers as you're looking at what that impact is really going to do and how are they really going to pay for it, right? And we should force them to be honest about the fact that these numbers that you were citing about 11.8 million Americans will lose their health care, while wealthy billionaires get a bigger tax break. Like, let's hold them accountable. So there's a few things you can do. We want to flood the zone. Call their offices, call their field offices. There will be, in some instances, if you find out that there are folks peacefully, of course, protesting in your area and you want to go participate in that, that's great. We also, though, on social media can really flood the zone and tell our stories about the impact of these programs and what they do. Even something as simple as the Inflation Reduction Act. I mean, they're gonna, and some of this I will say, it just feels like it's just part of Trump's vengeance agenda. Like, he's cutting some of this clean energy tax credits. Well, that lowers your energy costs, right? Just because he hates Biden. He is cutting, essentially, this is a backdoor way to cut the Affordable Care Act. Why? Because he hates Barack Obama. He tried to do it the first time, couldn't get away with it. Now they've kind of figured out a way to do that. So as you see these numbers, let's talk about the impact. Let's hold them accountable. They know what they're doing. They know it's ugly. They know it's shameful. They know that it's a betrayal. It is not. Do not let them tell you that this is a populist, going to help the middle class. That is not what this is. And so the more we can be vocal and be honest and try to push them to be honest and hear our voices, the more we can hopefully slow this thing down, because there are Republicans who know how bad it is. And so we've got to help them get a spine and stand up for it.
Karen, thank you so much. And two very quick questions I want to just raise. And we see you in the chat. Yes, we will get you a cheat sheet. In fact, we'll get you a social media toolkit. And you all know, if you've been on Win with Black Women calls for the last 5 years, you know that you can get a social media toolkit that can help amplify these important messages that Karen has given us. And I think if you don't walk away with anything, with nothing tonight, I hope you walk away with the billionaire boondoggle, how Karen said it, and make sure that you lift that up. But Karen, also, I want you to talk about, I know we just wrapped the State of the People tour, and I know our good sis Angela Rye wished that she could be here. She's actually in a flight. And we want to talk about some of the things that we know are forthcoming where people are going to be able to tune in. So I wanted you to talk about that before we bring up our next panel.
You bet. I'm happy to. So we decided that yet again, it's important that everybody has a place where they can go and hear the truth, because we know we're not hearing the truth from those Republicans on the Hill. And but of course, if you see Auntie Maxine on, make sure you turn the volume up, because she's always speaking truth. So we're going to do a marathon, another State of the People marathon. And we haven't quite decided yet when it's going to start. We're looking at what's happening in the Senate tonight to sort of figure it out. We'll probably start it sometime tomorrow. And similar to what we did with State of the People over the address to Congress, you'll be able to access it through YouTube. I think it'll also be on Instagram. So we're going to try to provide ongoing marathon programming to keep you up to date on what is happening, who's voting for it, who's not voting for it, and there's just what you need to know. Because the other thing we should just mention, and I think the Congresswoman mentioned, there's a House version and a Senate version. So based on what the Senate votes on, the House might have to do something. So there's likely to be some back and forth. So we are going to, starting tomorrow afternoon, State of the People, we will be, here we go again, streaming live to keep the facts. There's one last thing I want to mention too that's important, that I think we can take this moment to talk about. And that is that there's a Quinnipiac poll that came out last week. People overall don't like this bill. They don't want cuts to Medicaid. They don't want to see the things that are in this legislation. They don't want SNAP cuts, by the way. And it's interesting because it comes at a time when what we've seen over the last several weeks, Donald Trump is falling in the polls like a rock. His negatives are going up. People disapprove of how he's handling top issues like the economy, like immigration. People are now saying, hey, how about a path to citizenship for people instead of, deporting children or mothers who are nursing their kids or getting it wrong. So I want us to remember that part of why we know we have power is because their agenda is unpopular. A majority of Americans know it. And so we've just got to help get everybody's voices amplified so we can hopefully slow this thing down and make some changes.
Well, thank you so much, Karen Finney. Thank you, Demetria McCain. And thank you, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, for breaking it down. Sisters on the front line. And yes, sisters, forthcoming. You heard it here first and live on Win with Black Women. State of the People is coming back with live, continuous programming for you to stay informed. More details. You will get a Win with Black Women social media toolkit from us. And we are, in the style of Win with Black Women, working on an open letter, and we might be able to drop that open letter on this call tonight before we end. And once we send that open letter, we want you to send it to as many sisters as possible so that we can have thousands of Black women sign this open letter that we can release publicly to say that we do not stand for this big, bad, ugly bill. Thank you all so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Action is important. Sisters, I'm going to transition. Our good sister Latasha Brown is going to speak on the program a little later in the program. And the one thing that Sister Latasha Brown always says, and it just resonates with me, is that we always have to have the ability to hold both our pain and our fight and also our joy. And so we know that it is Pride Month, celebrating Pride. It is also Black Music Month. It is the last day of Black Music Month, and we are super, well, it's the day before the last day of Black Music Month. And we could not end June without having a conversation and also a celebration, a true celebration of Black women who have powered music. And we are so excited for this next panel. And I am going to call them up. I'm going to make sure that I am getting all of their titles and because they're so bad and they're so bold and they're so brilliant for a very beautiful conversation. I'm so excited about this. Let us welcome to the stage Sister Sarita Oglesby, who is a renowned musical publicist. We have Sister Chelsea Green, who is the first Black woman chair. First, y'all, she is the chair on the Board of Trustees of the Recording Academy. We have Joy Brown, who is the founder of Culture Creators and a longtime music executive. We have Leela James, who is an R&B superstar. She is a multi-Grammy nominated R&B superstar. We have Felicia Font, who is the global head of music, industry, and culture at Amazon Music. And she is also longtime music executive, and she also leads the Purple Agency as well. And we also have our good sister, Tari Teray, who is a two-time Grammy Award-winning singer and songwriter. Welcome all these sisters to the stage. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm gonna let them come
Thank
off
you.
of mute.
Thanks
Hey, how
thanks
are
for
you
having me.
all? How are, oh my
Hey,
God,
hello,
this
What's up,
is
hello.
Jacob?
amazing.
Hey, happy
This is, oh my
Sunday.
God, happy Sunday. Okay, first of all, let me be the first to say happy Black Music Month and
Yes.
thank you for the work. I think the thing that is so beautiful about this, and I'm just so excited just to see everybody all in these boxes, right? I think it's just really important because when we think about Black Music Month, and I was having this conversation with Dr. Chelsea Green, and what we were talking about, it's that Black women, we lead music in every way. There are Black women that are executives. There are Black women that are songwriters. There are Black women who are musicians of instruments, Black women who use their vocal instrument. There are Black women who are agents and publicists, and all of it matters. And there are Black women who write about music. Every aspect of it matters. And that's why it's so beautiful to see such a wide, diverse group of Black women that are just really empowering. So I really want to start off. I'm going to start off with you, Dr. Green. You just became the first, a historic first, chair of the Board of Trustees of the Recording Academy, otherwise known as the Grammy. So first of all, congratulations, history maker.
Thank you.
Talk to us about why it's so important to celebrate Black women in music, but also what it means to be together with all of these women right now representing so many various parts of the industry.
Joe Taker, I just have to say first, thank you. Thank you for this movement. Thank you for the work and effort that you're doing. It underscores the feeling that I have in this moment, just us even coming together tonight to become educated about where we are in the world. What is being positioned around us demands how we continue to show up. And I'm always so moved that women in music, women really in any industry, Black women in any industry, when we show up, literally without even saying a word, that is the protest. Us being there, us being in place, us going to a sound check and knowing exactly what we want the sound engineer to do for our sound, us going into the studio and owning our words, owning our lyrics, because we are owning that narrative. We're telling our story. And when we release music, we're releasing bodies of work. We're birthing work into the world, but also it stirs cultural movement just by it being in the world. So it's a very powerful moment to be able to sit in this position and work together with incredible collaborators across so many different types of music creation and come together to see how we're serving our music industry in this moment. What do we need to not only serve our our creators now, but to create pathways that we can help our creators thrive in the future. So it is an honor to be here, especially with these incredibly talented, gifted, and intelligent women. And all of you on the call, we appreciate your support.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sister Leela James, I want to come to you next because, you know, your
Hi.
voice, yes, sis, thank you and welcome. You know, your
Oh,
voice carries generations of soul. When I think
thank
about
you.
your voice, it literally carries generations of soul. But when you think about the legacy for Black women in music, whether from the church or to the charts, everywhere, all wherever it has been, where do you see yourself in that lineage? And then also, I would love for you to talk about how has sisterhood played a role in keeping you on your journey?
Well, for me, music is not just a form of entertainment. It is definitely, for me, spiritual, and it's therapy, but it's also it's it's the way that I could express the message of love, of resilience, and perseverance. And I feel for myself as an artist, my legacy, I want to leave behind um, just the power of being a Black woman and the strength, that it takes to, walk this earth every day. Um, and to try to operate in an industry that sometimes is not set up for you to be as um, vibrant, if you will. And so I just want to make sure that I'm able to leave some kind of message where people, where my people, the Black women, know that we are here and we've been here and we can continue to thrive and strive. And if music is my way of putting that message out and touching the lives of many, then I think that's a blessing and that's a good thing. And I'm just gonna use it as my tool. That's my platform to, spread the good news of Blackness and sisterhood and the beautiful thing about sisterhood is just having that support and knowing that you have someone that you can lean on and they can relate to you. You can relate to them, and it's just really important because oftentimes we are put against each other. But so to know that there are sisters that support one another and see each other, uplift each other, and straighten each other's crowns, that feels good. That feels really good.
Now, speaking of sisterhood, I see many of your sorors are saying hello
Yes.
to you in the chat. But and others, I have a question for all of you. But if the spirit moves you, chime in because I heard a lot of about trying to pit us against each other. So if someone wanted to chime in and talk about the experience or having to overcome that, I'd love to hear any of your experiences or thoughts on the fact that they often will try to separate us, but our power is in our collective. It's
Correct.
truly in our collective.
Correct. Absolutely. It's nothing like being able to, again, call on your sister, lean on your sister, and know that literally she has your back, and your front, your sides, and that's important, because I always say there's room for all. There's room for all, and we need each other. We
We
do.
absolutely. Sister Fine, I want to come to you because you once said, and I quote, "You can't be what you can't see." Talk about the power of visibility and how do we ensure that Black women are not just in the buildings, but we are running them?
I think that's a very detailed question, and I'll give you a answer from two perspectives. I think that when I say see, the first person I saw was Miss Clayton. I started my internship at CNN. And so seeing this Black woman in office stuck with me, right? You see this woman sitting here running things. She is maybe 4'11", but she held it down. So when I say seeing, that was my first time. And I mean that, seeing this woman possess this much power, this much strength, this conversation. But she also, and I use this word really, really carefully. It's the pass the torch conversation that I think you're having across this conversation and what it means to really support. It's mentorship, but it's passing the torch. I think that if you look at the landscape of record labels, if you look at the landscape of Black women in music, we are not prominent, right? There are a few of us. You just said Green is the first, right? I worked under Wendy Washington, who was the first Black head of PR, right? So when you think about that, we're still the first of a lot of things, the first A&R, the first executive, the first head of marketing. So the fact that we're still the first means that we have a long way to go. Sylvia Rohn is still the first CEO, then Ethiopia, right? So I can go through all the names. What I'm saying about this is when we get people in this building, it is important to train them up the way they need to go. It is important to give them the tools to understand etiquette within these buildings. It's important to understand how to develop, ensure longevity, and really how to present yourself. And I think that until we truly talk about it, and again, there's mentorship. I can talk about Felicia with Ween, Heather with Fem It Forward. Like, there's been these moments of truly saying, like, once we bring you in, let's hold on tight and make sure that we are passing down the information. But to me, that's really the conversation. It's once I see you, then you see someone else. What are you doing to make sure that you are getting that girl, that young man to the side? And sometimes it's a tough conversation. And I say this because a lot of younger executives think that tough conversation is someone trying to block them from success, when it really is, we've been here before. My first mentor was Sharon Hayward. And I'll end with this conversation because I think it's important to give you the visual. I'm a visual speaker. I was an assistant at Motown under Kadar Massenberg, and my desk was the first desk that you saw. And so even though I was a publicity assistant for Serena Gallagher, who was my boss, I was still the first desk. So, Sharon walks in, I'm typing, I'm getting ready to send out packages, I'm pitching something for Erykah Badu 702, I don't know, I'm just not looking up. And she says, it's important that you see who's coming into this hallway. Always greet, always sit up straight, and always make sure you make eye contact with who's coming in. And then I look up and she's very tall. You know, Sharon Hayward is not a small, short woman like Miss Clayton. She is tall and she is regal. And she said, I'm telling you this because you never know who you're going to see. And from that moment of telling me to sit up straight, make sure I acknowledge who's walking in this hallway, I saw what was happening in the music business. I saw who was walking to the end of the hall, which was to Kadar Massenberg's office. So that was Stevie Wonder one day. That was, again, Sharon Hayward. That's Brian McKnight. You name who the artist, again, I'm going through the roster, right? But what that does is it forces you to pay attention to your surroundings and the people that are actually going to be the people that you need when you're outside of the building. So it's taking that moment that she took for me to say, stand up straight, sit up straight, look at the people walking into the building. And I think that's what we're trying to tell all of these younger executives. Stand up straight and look around, see who is in your circle and who is going to be the people that lead you and guide you and direct you in this business. If you keep looking elsewhere and not at us, you won't have the support to continue your elevation in the music business. That's the best way I can say that.
Well, you always give a word. You always give a word. And congratulations on your recent honor with the inaugural Black Women in Music Awards from the Connie Orlando, another Black woman in music, the Connie Orlando Foundation. So congratulations. And you've been getting many flowers that you deserve.
Thank you so much.
You know, you talked about narrative. And this narrative, and Leela, you talked a bit about the narrative that they shape around Black women. I want to go to you, Sarita, because you're a powerhouse publicist behind so many iconic artists, and you've helped shape the narrative around Black music. How do you envision, and how do you believe that we need to do more of, and how do you work to help shape the narrative of Black women in music to make sure that we're controlling the story there?
I think that I thank you, first of all. Thank you so much, Joteka, for having me as part of this conversation. It's very important to always pass it forward. As Felicia said, my profile, also my mentor, as someone who saw something in me. And so I have to give her flowers again on this call. But as it relates to Black women and how we are shaped, sometimes we are often maligned in terms of character because we are having to be very strong, because we're not only fighting, amongst a lot of different issues, but oftentimes we're often pitted against each other because it's seeing that you can't exist or coexist with one another. I think that it's important to be able to share with people that we often work together in collaboration. And when we do, we come up with very powerful things. And so in controlling your narrative is making sure that you also protect the narrative, right? That Black women are not, attitudinal. We're not all adversarial. We are definitely people who stand together because we're often brought together. Like music is a vibration, is love, right? It's the one thing that draws us all together in some respects. And so when it brings us together, we have to use it for positivity and then to uplift and then also to inspire. And I think when you are often careful about that and making sure you're very intentional with sharing that, making sure that when you present an artist, right, that you're doing things that's going to make sure that they set them up for success, but also amplify their character, making sure that they're about their community, making sure that they understand that it's not just very linear in terms of being an entertainment industry, but understanding that it is about messaging. It is about how you present yourself. It is about what you stand for when it's done. And especially in times like this, right, that your job as an artist is to inspire other people and to use your influence properly. So, in terms of what it means for a Black woman perspective is to stand strong in who we are as character and our character, is to stand strong on business, period. Is also to be collective and to also, again, look out for one another, look up and make sure we pull other people up as we're moving along the ladder, but also making sure that we amplify the right type of things that also to set our people up for success.
Wow, that is so powerful, so powerful. And speaking you talked about not only the narrative, but how we lift each other up. I want to go to you, Joy,
Yes.
because Joy, you are a cultivator, a connector. You've been in this industry for years, but you created Culture Creators, which I was just at the last Culture Creators, which was absolutely amazing, where you celebrated many women that have been in the music industry. Could you talk about, and just your history of helping launch people's careers and opening doors for so many? What is the one thing that you believe that young Black women who are aspiring to be in the music industry, what's the thing that they need to remember as they're building in this industry?
One line: you cannot do it alone. And I say that because I'm sitting on this call right now with like Felicia, who has been instrumental in my career personally and professionally. When I launched Culture Creators, she was lock and step. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have this idea. And she's like, sis, let's go. And now you pivot, you talk about paying it forward. We're bringing Sarita, who's also, both of them my sorority sisters, but they're like, what do you need? And one of the things I think that as Black women, we have to understand is that this narrative that we have to do it all and be all these things is so untrue. I think we do ourselves a disservice when we try to show up in so many spaces as being the only one. I think that one of the things I like to do when I do business, and I was at Atlanta Records 21 years, and I ascended because I watched, right? So I watched how the other people played the games, and I said, okay, so it's not about always commanding the room. Sometimes you just need to be in the room and listen and find out who is who and who's making moves, and then align yourselves with people who understand your mission and can work collaboratively with you. And another thing that I realized too is that we're not in this alone. Like, we need allies, we need advocates, we need people talking our names in rooms that we're not in. And that's one of the things that I think the power of Culture Creators. I tell people all the time, Culture Creators is not about me. It is solely built on community. I can name 50 people who have been instrumental into its growth. Felicia's there every year. Felicia's been on the advisory board. I mean, she should be like the co-founder, really. Sarita is there. There's so many people that are part of building this village so that it can sustain itself and grow and nurture. And one of the things I think is really important as women is that we can't get comfortable being the only one. If we walk in spaces and we're the only one, there's a problem. And I think that we get comfortable in this hierarchy kind of role of saying, okay, well, I'm here, I've achieved the success, and I'm going to hold on to the reins for God's sake. We do ourselves, our community, we do other women a disservice if we're not pulling a young person in or another sister into the conversations so they can learn, so they can also expand and grow in these spaces. Because one thing I've learned and saw in the success of my career is that when one door opens for me, it opens for all of us. So it behooves us to talk about how we open that door. How do we strategize to open more doors? How do we work as community to really knock down all these barriers that exist in the music business?
Wow, this is a whole word. This is a
It's
whole
a whole
word.
word.
This is a whole word
A whole
tonight.
word.
A whole word tonight. I want to go to you, Sister Tari Teray. Y'all, I gotta tell this story very quickly. I gotta tell this story because I'm about to date both of us now. So I believe it was maybe 25 years ago. I was doing activist work someplace in the South, and I met Tari Teray, and I bought Tari Teray's first album out of the trunk of their car. And that was 25 years ago.
Yes.
We stayed in touch for a bit loosely, and then one day about 3 years ago, she popped up on a Win with Black Women call, and I was like, Tari, I haven't seen you in years, so it's so good to see
Yes.
you. But you have
Oh my
collaborated
God.
with so many artists, from Common, Jay Ivy, Kanye, John Legend, but your solo work has been deeply rooted in spirit. What's the message that you carry for the next generation for Black women songwriters and singers like yourself?
Well, first of all, let me tip my crown to you, Joteka, for doing what you do in the world. Period. The way you exist is a muscle for me, and for my family, and for my community, and for all of us. And I'd also like to tip my crown to the panelists and the speakers that are here talking about and celebrating Black music, Black women in music, and then of course to everyone that's here on the participation side for this. I just really love being here. I've been jumping up and down for joy all day because I knew this call was coming. To answer your question, when I write these songs, well, first let me say this. We've always had to stand in the spirit of truth telling. We've had to stand 10 toes down. It is, I think, muscle memory for me to know that I'm already in the fight. So when I'm writing a song, I'm already trying to think, how can it heal? How can it push the envelope? So to me, our songs are like survival notes, or they're letters of survival. And when I write it, whether it's a love song or whether it's something, and I'm on a hip hop stage and I'm doing hooks, or I'm helping Jay Ivy create one of his Grammy Award winning albums, for me, it's about survival, but it's about the declaration of that survival. And that declaration for me is a source of healing. And I hope, like, when you start with yourself, that if it affects you in a certain way, that it affects outwardly. And then there's this other part of this this thing. When you write these songs, you write them because and then, okay, let me say this. Okay, I'm gonna just do it. The things that have been asked of me in this male dominated industry, the things that have been requested of me, and the things that were told that I wasn't supposed to be, the things that I was asked to not be and to be more of and to show more of and to do more of, the things that didn't complement my spirit. I was writing these songs in protest. And so it was progress without permission. It was the exact act of creating a song that they told me I shouldn't create. It was the exact part of me that they told me to bury more of that. So when I walked in a studio and it was male, I would be the only woman in there, or I would be the only woman songwriter in there, or I would be the only woman in the booth singing a hook. For me, it was me declaring my progress without their permission. It was me designing the stage I wanted to stand on. So my songs were that design. And I was hoping, and I do try this when I speak to groups of people about songwriting. I try to tell them, listen, this is your chance to put your fingerprint on the world the way they told you not to. This is your chance. So every song is a chance. It's a muscle. It's a protest. So even if it's a love song, I like love songs. I like to write about something fancy and frilly and jazzy. I like to get into it. I like to bend my hip and pop it a little bit. I'm telling my age, just even in my language. But I'm telling you right now, these songs are survival notes.
So that I hope I answered the question, but I
You
just,
did just answer the question. You gave a whole word. Y'all, the chat is like loving this, loving this. Y'all, let me tell you, the day that Win with Black Women does a live Win with Black Women call, y'all got to promise y'all going to come and do this on stage and in person because this is so powerful. I
Yes.
gotta repeat what you said about progress. You are declaring your progress without their permission. That is a lesson. It's not if you just in Black women in music, but that's Black women everywhere because it is about, again, like y'all said, our survival and our very existence is resistance. Our very existence, when we are in rooms, that is protest sometimes because they don't want us in many of those rooms. I'm going to just share a very good friend who is a senior executive at American Airlines, what I literally just got off of. She just texted me and said, this conversation was so needed tonight. This is moving my heart. I just want to tell you how you're moving people that are listening to you. I want to, we could really talk. I mean, maybe we could come back and have an expanded conversation and panel. I would hope that you all would consider in some form because I believe this is such a rich conversation. I'm looking at Dr. Chelsea Green. Maybe the Recording Academy might just have y'all to have this conversation and you can just, we'll pass it on over to the Recording Academy that could continue the conversation. But I want to close out, but I want to
Take
give
a
you all, yes, ma'am. Go right ahead.
one
Sister Tara.
second before you go on, because I know we're about to end. I know we have time to consider, but I do want to say this: that I think that there's power in how you represented each area up here too. And I just wanted to. I know I tipped my crown, but I just want to do it again, y'all. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy to be connected to women who actually believe in the connection of us. So I'm done. I promise.
Oh,
I
no,
promise.
but you know you're not done because I want y'all all to, I'm gonna go around the
Okay.
horn. I'm gonna start with you, Sister Leela. I have it's kind of like a little lightning round, but I want you to share a Black woman in music, whether past, meaning she may have transitioned to be an ancestor or she's still with us, that you just want to lift up her name. And then I want you to also close us out with anything that you want to just leave us with. And I'm gonna go around the horn. I'm gonna start with you, Sister Leela James.
Okay. Well, I will say Tina Turner. She is gone on. But for me, she represented such power and strength and resilience. And I mean, I was a fan when she was alive. I think in her passing, I became a bigger fan. Just understanding her journey, her story, and the things that she personally experienced while being on Earth, and just knowing how difficult this industry can already be to also have to be dealing with things in your personal life. I feel like she represented so much strength, and she's an inspiration to me, and I think to other women that, number one, like, you can be strong, you can exist, you can thrive, you can walk away from an abusive relationship and come back better than ever. And I just admire her story. And I will lift her name up. And then I will leave y'all with this. I will be in New York on the 28th performing live. So y'all come see me. And I might do a Tina Turner song just to honor her. And then on the 29th, I'm going to be in Boston performing live at the City Winery. New York, and I'll be in Sony Hall. Then I'll also tell y'all right now, I have new music out. And so, can you download and stream that? It's right on time right now. It's about God's divine timing and love, and not settling for anything, but just accepting the time is when it's supposed to be. It's gonna be, and it's gonna be right. And so that's what the song is about right now. And I just want y'all to continue to support that, my journey, my musical journey. And I want to say thank you for having me. And I see you, and I see all of my sisters. I love us. I love everything about us, our hair, our skin colors, all our shades. And again, there's room for all of us. And I hope we can continue in this place that we are in as sisters, and just continue to grow and support each other. I'm glad to be here this evening, and I don't want to take up too much time, but yeah, so Tina Turner, and go get some new music from me and come to my shows. Yes, y'all.
Absolutely. I can't wait to get to one of your shows. I have seen you live before. And yes, sisters, you are going to get in the Win with Black Women meeting recap. You're going to get links. You're going to get all of their projects that they're working on, links to their tour schedules, their websites. In the recap, you're going to get all of that. And that's going to go to our entire listserv. So everybody's going to get that. And I believe in participation. So for all of you sisters that are in the chat and y'all are live in the chat, I want y'all to list the name too. While these sisters are listing names, let's make sure we lift up Black women in music. So drop that name in the chat as well. Sister Joy, I'm going to go to you.
I kind of knew that was going to happen. First, Joteka, thank you so much for creating this platform. You know, I was on one of those 44,000 women when you launched this, and to see you dive into other conversations and have a steady presence about all things Black women and culture and community. Kudos to you for having the wherewithal and to stick with it too, right? Because it's a hard time to plug through some of these things. And thank you to the panelists, like you guys, we have to stay connected after this. So I love that. And I'd say it's very hard for me to make this call because I can name a bunch of women. But I would say, you know what, right now, I want to give flowers to Suzanne DePass. Because when I look at women who are multi-hyphenate, who took really chances when really back then, like you were supposed to be cute and sit in your role and be a secretary. And she really took the industry by storm and just, you know, from TV to film to music, she has done it all. And I don't think that she gets her enough flowers. And I hope to give her flowers soon one day. But I want to tip my hat to her and say that I see her, I honor her. And I'm thankful for the doors she opened so that all of us could walk through them.
Thank you. Sister Felicia, over to you.
It's hard, just like she said, there's so many. But I'm gonna say Connie Orlando. I was gonna go to an artist, but I'm gonna go back to Connie. I think it goes back to resilience in this business and showing up even when there's so many things that we don't see. And I think that's something that we forget. Black women have to hide so many things at work, in our everyday spaces, and we never get to really fully be in ourselves. And you never know what we're dealing with because we always have to fight for humanization and respect and making sure that we are the backbones of a lot of these projects that people just don't even understand that are coming out to fruition. I think that the music business is a stepchild to a lot of industries. So I'm really glad that you're doing this. I think music is not always given its flowers, but yet it heals. So I go back to Connie because this being her inaugural moment, her being in this position at BET under all the pressure doing what's happening in this world right now to still put together a show that reflects all of our complexities. And we always say that we're not monolithic. So I am proud of her. I'm proud of what she put together, and I'm proud of her being resilient in that moment to still build something for, again, what Black women always ignore is our health. So I will end with that note, but please take care of yourselves and your bodies, because that's what we sometimes neglect during all the other things that we're taking care of.
Okay. Such powerful advice. And for those of you, someone dropped this in the chat. Thank you. They said Connie Orlando, who is executive vice president at Black Entertainment Television, and she is also the extraordinary and one of the just brainchilds behind that spectacular BET Awards that we just witnessed, which was a beautiful representation of Black women. And shout out to our sister Lettucey, because that was powerful when she sung Black Woman. And the chat is just warming my heart because I'm seeing so many names, and it's just reminding me personally of just the contributions that Black women have made. Sister Sarita, I want to come to you.
Yes, I'm going to actually say two names. I'm going to name Patty Webster, who was one of PR. She was a PR powerhouse, mainstream, and on the African American side. I mean, what she was able to do with campaigns was absolutely masterful. There's also Terry Williams as well, but I'm going to also highlight Deanna Williams, who is the creator of Black Music Month. She started this after being a host on WHUR in a time where Black women were not leading voices in radio. She really was a catalyst for change. She was a trailblazer and still is in her community in Philadelphia. And just to even have the vision in 1979 to say that it's important to highlight and celebrate the contributions of Black music because, we set the trend. We are the people who move the culture. And the fact that she recognized that almost 50 years ago is incredible. And so tonight, actually in Philadelphia, there's a big concert happening, which is why she wasn't able to join this call. But I just want to uplift her because of the fact that she's still very involved in the culture, still channeling and making sure that artists of all of our time are getting the visibility and the support that they need at radio in a time when they are being silenced.
Absolutely, the importance of Black women in radio, but also Black women who create spaces for us to celebrate ourselves, because that is important.
Right.
And a big shout out to Naima Coltrane, who also created Music
keeping that alive.
Sermon.
Yes.
And keeping that alive. I mean, I tell you, I learn
Yes.
something new every day on Music Sermon. If you're not following Music Sermon on Instagram, make sure you do. Sister Tari, I'm going to come to you.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to do something a little bit different, just a little tweak here. I'm just going to lift up the sisters that I know that came out of Chicago who helped raise me in music. And that would be Mahalia Jackson, Shaka Khan, Jennifer Hudson, Layla Hathaway. And I just want to just thank them right now for everything that they did, past and present. And then a big, beautiful shout out to my favorite singer in all of the planets of Earths of universes. I love Phyllis Hymas, and I just, her story and how her story was just, it helped guide me in a lot of places in my life. And it really, really, she's just a healing soul for me. So that's what I would like to say. I'd like to thank you guys again for having me among you. And thank you again, Joteka. And I'll leave you with this, that you are your biggest yes. You are your biggest no, because no is powerful too. And make sure that you remember to give yourself your own flowers in the midst of all of this, because sometimes we forget to celebrate the beautiful times, and sometimes you miss it because you forgot that you were in the middle of the celebration because you're so busy trying to get to the next thing. So that's it. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all soon, hopefully.
Absolutely. And you have music that's out there as well. We're going to make sure we're dropping in the chat, y'all, all of their Instagram handles. You're going to get all of that in our recap. Dr. Green, I'm going to have you close us out.
Oh my
Chairwoman Green, Dr. Green, accomplished, award-winning violinist, Dr. Green.
Wow.
I want you to close us out. And then also in closing us out, in your departing words, and lifting up a Black woman that you want to just give her flowers or just name her. I want you to just really share as you leave, as someone who is sitting at the helm of the Recording Academy, which has played such a pivotal role in how we have been seen. Just your hopes for what you will do, just your representation in that moment.
Thank you for that opportunity, because I think it marries with the woman I'm going to lift up. I want to also first say, as the Neo on the call, I'm just very grateful to be here amongst my illustrious prophytes, okay, and everyone on the call. And I'm grateful for this opportunity. I will say that the woman I want to lift up in music is my late grandmother, Linnell Carr. And she had an aspiration to pursue classical music, classical opera in college. And she was not able to do that because of surviving domestic violence, having to survive being a single mother in a two-parent household, having to show up for a family and prove that she could juggle both life and raising children, and her life and new life at the same time. And so I lift her because I want to shout out all the women that grind that are not on the A list, that we don't see. on what people know as the mainstream. Everyone that goes into their bank accounts to create albums from what they have, not from label support, not from a grant, not from anything, but because they feel God has led them to share a message and they're going to get it out to the world by any means necessary. And part of what is so humbling about this position is I am so passionate to resource what it means to give resources, to provide resources. I feel like inclusion is not a buzzword, it's a mandate. And that looks like many, many different things because the way that we show up is not just in one capacity. I think my goal is that not only are we languaging more about how the Academy helps our creators, but we're building community. We're building community. We're providing resources. We are connecting creators. And I truly believe every single person on this call is an artist. If you are an architect, if you are a nurse, if you are a teacher, if you are holding it down at home, there is one thing that you did today that made you use improvisation. You had to think of something new. You had to use what you had and say, you know what? I thought I had them pants, but I don't. So now how am I gonna put this outfit together and be still at this brunch? And you made it work, and I know you look cute. So I think that whatever we can do to be building bridges, making sure that we stay connected and giving resources to people that need them to help their careers stay in motion. That is truly my passion. And in that, celebrating creators at every level is something that I really hope that we can do better at.
Ooh, wow. Well, thank you all so much. I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that there could be some collaborations, the culture creators, the Recording Academy, we could just all kind of keep this conversation going in some kind of way because you all are powerful. You've dropped so many gems that translate. But everyone, I hope you could just do a screenshot real fast. I wish I did just cut me out, but because I'm gonna turn my camera off. I'm gonna turn my camera off so y'all can just see these women on this screen. I want y'all to do a screenshot because this is a powerhouse group of women who are empowering music. And the beautiful part of this, I hope y'all got y'all screenshot. I hope y'all took a screenshot of that. Post them and tag them all on the socials. But the thing that I think is most beautiful is this is multiplied. This is multiplied by tens of thousands of us that exist. You see 6 powerhouses, and there are even more of them that exist. And what you said, Dr. Green, in terms of making sure we lift all up. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Sarita Oglesby, Dr. Chelsea Green, Joy Brown, Felicia Font, Tari Teray, and Leela James. Thank you so much for coming, and congratulations. And we honor and we just love everything you do. And we look forward to supporting your music. Thank you, sisters.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
All righty, sisters. Well, man, I was so into that conversation.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
ladies.
Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
God bless
Bye-bye.
y'all.
Thank you. Well, sisters, we're going to keep going on the agenda because I'm super excited because, you know, we're celebrating so much tonight. And I talked about this sister earlier, and I talked about joy. This next conversation is about manifesting Black girl dreams and legacy. And I'm just so excited because we have young Black girls that are going to speak on our next panel. And I'm so glad that they were able to see that panel that just came before, and the speakers that came even before that. Before I bring up this next panel, I want to show this clip to put a context into the dynamic work that they're doing.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. When I say Black girl, you say joy. Black girl, Black girl, Black girl.
Where them fans at? Where them fans at? Hit me one time. Oh, 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 I got my boots on the ground. Yeah. Oh, 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 I got my boots on the ground. Where them fans at? Get up by your seat. Let your body move. my boots on the ground. Fans, please. I hope you got good knees, cause we gon' get it up. Everybody's dancing to that juke joint love. Hold on to your wig, hold on to your man, cause the steppers in that building, y'all, and they throwing the fan. Come on. Whoa, oh, 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 got my boots on the ground. Yeah. Oh, 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 got my boots on the ground, baby. Wait a minute. Boots on the ground, kicking up some dust. Boots on the ground, kicking up some dust. Wait a minute now, where them fans at? Where them fans at? Where them fans at? Hit me one time, hit me two times. Oh, 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 I got my boots on the ground. Yeah, yeah. Oh, 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 I got my boots on the ground. Wait a minute, let me do that one more time for the ones who ain't hear me. Listen here. Boots on the ground, kicking up some dust. Boots on the ground, kicking up some dust. Wait a minute now, where them fans at? Where them fans at? Where them fans at? Hit me one time, hit me two times. Oh, 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 I got my boots on the ground. Oh, oh, yeah. Oh, 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 I got my boots on the ground. Y'all know I don't mind. Yes, sir. Boots on the ground. Where them fans at? Boots on the ground. Where them fans at? Where them fans?
All righty. Let's welcome to the Win with Black Women stage. Y'all, we got a powerhouse conversation with y'all know this is to my heart because I'm a Southern Black girl. Oh my goodness. I am so excited for this next conversation. Look at it. I mean, y'all are ready, right? That video was something else, boots on the ground, but this is the Southern Black Girls and Women's Consortium. I'm so excited to have you here. Let's welcome founder Latasha Brown, executive director Chauncey Lundy Russell, and the ambassadors and leaders, the future, the now, Kaylee Pouncey and Alana Armstead. How are you all doing? Welcome. First of all, welcome. I'm going to turn it over. I want to start off with Kaylee and Alana. Am I saying it correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, I don't like when people call me Joe Taco, so I want to make sure I'm saying your name right, Miss Alana and Miss Kaylee. I just want to start with y'all because, sometimes when younger women in the room, we start with the adults. I want to start with you all first. Tell me, everybody, Win with Black Women, all of these women, because there are probably between here and our YouTube, probably about 2,000 Black women that are watching this conversation right now. Tell us about the work that you're doing, the video we just saw, and how you're feeling tonight.
I think I'll go first. Hello, or as we say at Southern Black Girls, hey girl, hey. My name is Lana Armstead. Tonight I am feeling incredible. I'm energized. I'm ready to go. And just a little bit about Southern Black Girls is like I said, my name is Lana. I'm 14 years old and I am a youth ambassador. And recently I was given the ability to participate in their Dream Investment Program, which is a program where about 25 women come together for 16 weeks to learn from experts in the field of business, build community, network, a lot of leadership skills, and just all together just create a sisterhood of those in business. It was overall an incredible experience. And if I could put it into words, I would just say life-changing. Southern Black girls, they are very passionate about investing in not only young women, but as well as older women. Like in this group, there were so many different ages from all over the South, people that were hours and hours away from me that I was able to build such an incredible community with. So overall, Southern Black Girls is just incredible and it brings me joy, and they fund my dreams of my own business to teach youth to be bold, courageous, and full of faith. And come and see what we have going on.
You know, I like it, Miss Armstead. Miss Armstead, I love it. I want to get back to you because you told them you said your business because you got a business you want to tell us about. Miss Pouncey, over to you.
Yes, hi everybody. Thank you so much for the invite and the platform on the call. I'm so excited to be here. There's so many women in this call that I look up to and have honestly just raised me as a community as well. This is my third year of involvement with Southern Black Girls. I originally joined Southern Black Girls as a college student and have carried them with me while I continue to master what I like to call young adulting. So much of my journey has been shaped by this incredible community. Since getting involved, I've been supported with opportunities, mentorship, and resources that have opened doors for me I never even imagined possible. Through Southern Black Girls, I've experienced intergenerational connection, professional growth, job offers, leadership development, and deep relationship building with Black women and girls that are doing this transformative work across the South. I'm a first generation college student. I graduated from the University of Alabama in 2023. And since I've had the opportunity to travel across the country and to several other countries to further my academic pursuits at no cost to me, all because of the support that I've received through this collective. And today I work the intersection of restorative justice and philanthropy. I center justice impacted women and resourcing the communities that are most directly affected by mass incarceration. As you can imagine, that's us. And we are the fastest growing number of incarcerated women. So one of the most meaningful parts of this journey for me has been actually being named recently a Black Girl Joy Challenge winner. And through the support from that micro grant, my team has actually been able to initiate building a food and serenity garden for our community in Metro Atlanta, which, for those who are unaware, we're swamped with food deserts, and now we can do our part to address that. And I think that what makes this work so powerful is that it teaches young Black women how to advocate for ourselves, and we're learning how to ask the $1 billion questions and to take up space in rooms and to speak from the power of our lived experience. So I'm very grateful to be part of this work, and thank you, Latasha and Chauncey, for welcoming me into this space.
Taking up space. Chauncey and Latasha, you are building something beautiful. You're doing God's work. Talk to us about the inspiration behind this work and how can these women, all of these sisters that are watching, support this important work that you're doing.
You know, I am one, hey sisters, hey girl, hey. You know, I'm so moved by these sisters. There's a couple of things I will, well, I'll say the inspiration. You know, about 7 years ago, it was interesting. It was the same year that Cliff and I founded Black Voters Matter. A couple of months earlier, there was a report that came out, and the report talked about of almost $5 billion that were going to the South in philanthropic dollars, less than 1% were going to programs that supported women and girls. And that's all women and girls, Black, white, everybody. And so I was really frustrated and angry with it because I worked as an organizer, but also in philanthropy. My goal was I was going to go and tell philanthropy about themselves. They needed to get it together. And I went and got in the shower, and God was like, you can do that, or you can lead the way. And God gave me, I was in the shower, and the vision came so hard and strong that I had to jump out the shower and just start writing, committing on paper. And at the time, I had no money. I was actually working a job that I was about to quit, minimal resources whatsoever. But I know what God showed me, and God showed me a vision of creating this fund. It's $100 million fund that we are going to build over the next decade. We've already raised 20 million and given away, i.e. directly invested 10.2 million into Black women and girls. But you can hear more about that. The second piece from Chauncey, the second piece what I'll say is, if an example of investment works, if we need to see an example of that, the woman who runs this work, God has given me the vision, but let me tell y'all who is like putting the meat on the bones and making stuff happen. It is Miss Chauncey Lundy, who I met at the age of 14. I was 23, 24, and I was supposed to be her mentor, but now she's mine in many ways. And so God has allowed that and we work in 13 states. She'll tell you about, we are doing amazing work. I'm not going to talk long. I'm going to get off because technically I had surgery a week ago and I'm on medical leave for the next 6 weeks. But this was so important for me to get on here. And the only reason why I'm saying that and raising that is sisters in the midst of this. that is really important. I think I heard Sister Felicia say it earlier, that we take care of ourselves. Actually am learning through this process. I wouldn't sit down until God made me sit down. And so I'm sitting down and resting and recovering and releasing. And I know y'all heard these sisters, they don't need me. They don't even need me on this call, right? I'm so grateful to be on the call. But I will say, help us. You're sitting in, this is a vision of what I will tell you of a Black girl that's Southern. We got Black girls like you and I, Joteka, like that coming from a dirt road in the country. This ain't the organization that we just want the kids who are at the top of the list. We want the kids. We believe that all of the girls are at the top of the list. And so we work in all 13 states. We in the hollers, we in the hood, we in the rural areas, we in the girl that live off the street that don't nobody know where it is, but pointed by the tree, and we in the urban areas as well. And so with that, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop there and turn it over to Chauncey. I will say this: one of the things that has been really challenging is that we sit at the intersection. Everybody always talk about Black women and Black women are gonna lead. Well, Black women ain't just pop up, right? There's a prerequisite in being a Black woman. It's called being a Black girl. So what we see is we see this as a leadership pipeline. If we're really serious about shaping and supporting the leadership of Black women, then we as Black women have to support the pipeline of Black girls. And so part of this vision is for Black women to lift up and support Black girls, but we also are asking Black women to reclaim and revisit the Black girl in you. So when we celebrate Black girlhood, we have Black girls from 5 to 100, right? That we are celebrating, redefining, and really shaping girlhood. I'm gonna turn it over to you, Chauncey. I love you, Joteka. I'm gonna try not to be disobedient. So I can actually go back and lay down. But I love y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you for making this Southern Black girl happy. Oh, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna change the South, because if you change the world, if you change the world for a Black girl, you're gonna change the world. So we taking the South. Just want y'all to know we got a whole lot of pink boots on the ground right now.
We love you, Latasha Brown, and please be obedient. Sister Chauncey.
First, thank you so much, Joteka, and Win with Black Women team for providing this platform. And I don't know if you can see me over here wiping my eyes. I'm so incredibly proud of Kayla and Alana, and just seeing that manifestation and where they have grown. And I was once that young person, as Latasha talked about. So I am a product of what happens when you participate in out of school, after school, or just community-based programming, and everything that doesn't necessarily have to have a formal structure. Just that sister that is picking girls up and taking them and mentoring them and pouring into them. Those are the organizations that we support. So as Southern Black Girls and Women's Consortium, like Latasha was talking about, we have given out over $10.2 million across the South to 13 states across the South, and we continue to do that work. We like to say we focus in 3 buckets. That's money, movement, and messaging. Money is deploying resources on the ground to organizations that center and are led by Black girls and women. And we like to say we do non-traditional philanthropy. If you can find a fiscal sponsor, you've been doing the work. Most of our grantee partners, we're their first funder that they had. Their average budget is less than $200,000, but they're doing incredible work. Some of the things that were talked about earlier on this call, they're providing economic opportunity. They're working in mental health and wellness. They're doing STEM programming with girls. So it runs, again, entrepreneurship. So Alana talked about our dream investment program that focused on entrepreneurship. We focus on mental health and wellness. So we give to organizations, but then we also want to see that girls they can generate their own solutions. So as they talked about being recipients of the Black Girl Joy Challenge, that's where we give girls directly $550 and say, how can you spread joy to 10 of your family or friends in community? And we've seen everything from robotics to girls working to end period poverty, mental health boxes, affirmation boxes. I even seen a teacher appreciation dinner. There are just so many examples of work that's going on in community. And so the organizations that we support, you know, what we heard about earlier in terms of the political situation, they are frontline organizations who are being devastated by the cuts that we're seeing from government funding. Even though they may not have directly received government funding themselves, it may have been a trickle down, a fourth level from the city or for some organization or church that they receive funding from. So we're seeing an overwhelming request for support through our funds that we have. We have 4 funds: a Black Girls Dream Fund, an Innovation Fund, a defense fund for people who are working in the protection of Black girls and women, and a collaborative partnership fund. We also focus on movement building. So what you saw in that clip, that's just a sliver of what we do. What we say we bring joy, and I like to tell people, they say, how can you be joyous in the midst of all that's going on? And I go back to what I reflect on when I was raised in church in Selma, Alabama. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. So no matter what we're going through,
Amen to
still
that.
going to have us some joy. We still gonna smile, we gonna fight, we gonna do all the things that we need to do. And we also, so we focus on money, we focus on movement building, and we focus on messaging. We are shifting the narrative about what we say about ourselves and what others say about us too. We are generating solutions. And so I say to that, you know, I invite everyone to invest in our work. Go to southernblackgirls.org. They'll put the links in the chat. Invest in the work that we're doing. As I said, we're seeing an overwhelming request for funds, and we want to be able to grant more organizations across our 13 states in the South, because we can get the resources, and we do participatory grant making. So we don't make all the decisions. We have a wisdom council. So whether you are 12 or 112, you get to make decisions about what happens and where these grants go within our community. So I invite you to invest. I invite other people. So invite other people to be a part of this and champion our work. So in champion the work that we're doing in community, be a part of this movement that we're building with Southern Black Girls and Women's Consortium.
Thank you so much. This has been so beautiful. And I know we've dropped it in the chat because I know there's a lot of Southern Black girls that are of mothers of Southern Black girls, people who love Southern Black girls that are on this call. If you are interested in the Southern Black girl that you know to participate, please visit the website. I want to give a big shout out to Miss Armstead, Miss Pouncey, and Miss Lundy Russell. Thank you so much for showing us that there is a Black girl and she has Black girl joy. And I have to say to Miss Armstead and Miss Pouncey, I'm telling you, I wish I was on the chat and someone said, I wish we had this confidence when we were 14 years old. So shout out to you. Keep growing, keep soaring, and keep taking up space. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful night.
Well, sisters, we are almost at the end of our agenda for tonight, but we have another panel and a surprise guest for you tonight. I'm super excited to bring up this next guest selection of guests that we have because it's about sisterhood. We've been talking all night about sisterhood, and we started with sisterhood in working in resistance. And then we went on to show the sisterhood in music. We just saw this powerful conversation on Black Girl Joy, but this conversation is about an event that's rooted in the bond of sisterhood. I want to welcome to the Win with Black Women stage, Sister Brandolyn Anderson, Dr. Barbara Joy Jones, and Miss Vita Ali. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Win with Black Women stage. Now, I know that there's another special guest, and I'm gonna let the drum roll on her. And we're just super excited to have this conversation because there is an event that's happening. Well, there's something real big. Y'all, everybody knows that I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a proud member. And the national convention is coming to Washington, D.C. In July. But there is a very special event that many members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated wanted to pull and bring together that was rooted in building the bond of sisterhood across Black women. And so there is a powerful event that's happening in Washington that Black women, whether or not you are a member of a sorority, or if you are a member of a sorority that is not Delta Sigma Theta, or you are Me Phi Me, it is for you. And so we wanted to come and share more about that. I'm super excited to have one of the leaders of that, Sister Brandolyn Anderson. I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'm going to let you bring up our surprise guest for the panel discussion.
Now, before I do, I thought the chat was going fast before, but as soon as this special guest comes on, we're not going to be able to read it anymore. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Brandolyn Anderson. I'm also known as the Joy Builder. So I've been loving this conversation about joy and coming together. So we're really excited to talk to you about building the bond, which is a very special brunch that we're bringing together to support the work of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And while I love my sorority, there's only one person I can think of that can speak better to what we do. And I'd like to bring on our international president, Madam Elsie Cook Holmes.
Greetings to our friends and supporters. My name is Elsie Cook Holmes, International President and Chair of the Board of Directors for Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. It is my honor to invite you to join us for a powerful and purpose-filled experience at our upcoming event, Building the Bond, happening on Tuesday, July 8th at the beautiful Salamander Hotel in Washington, D.C. This exclusive brunch experience will be a special gathering bringing together dynamic women, thought leaders, and community champions to deepen our collective impact and invest in our future. Whether you're attending to connect, contribute, or be inspired, your presence matters. Visit the link in our bio to secure your table or ticket today. And let's continue building the bond that makes Delta strong. We'll see you in July.
Welcome, 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 the president of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Elsie Cook Holmes. It's so wonderful to have you here, and we're so excited to talk about this event that is for all women.
We
Please,
are very, very excited as well. And I am going to turn it back over to Dr. Jones and my sister Brandolyn because they have been all in working on this. But I just want to first of all say how excited I am to have this connection of sisters, not just Delta sisters, but across all of our shared bonds. And I think that is so, so important, especially for the times in which we find ourselves. So I'm going to turn it over to them. I'll come back and say something at the end, but I want to say thank you to them as I turn it back over because they've been working very, very hard to make this happen. So I'll turn it back over to you and come back in just a couple of minutes.
Madam President, thank you so much for joining us. It really means the world that you are backing this event and really showing all of your support. I appreciate you being on this call. So, ladies, building the bond is going to be a vibe. Like, I'm not even going to hold you. It is going to be a really beautiful opportunity to come together and have your cup filled. So part of what we want to do is we want to bring together women from various industries. When you purchase your ticket, you'll receive a link where you'll be able to choose your top 3 choices from all of our phenomenal speakers. We have, oh my goodness, we have Dr. Barbara Joy Jones, we have Joteka Edie, we have Abby Phillip, we have Stacey Abrams. We have women from all over the country coming to Washington, D.C. to be a part of this event. There'll be a beautiful curated brunch at the Salamander D.C. Hotel. So we're shopping Black owned. We are having this event at a Black owned venue. And we really want to just come together and have women talk to each other. So if you had the opportunity to have lunch with Stacey Abrams, what would that conversation be, right? And so we want to build that vibe. So this idea was brought to us by our phenomenal honorary member, Phyllis Newhouse, who really came up with this idea, and we've taken it and run. And so we're very, very excited. We only have 60 tickets left. I will say that. Yes. So tickets are selling very, very fast. And so we really want to make sure that you all know about this and you have an opportunity to come out and celebrate. We're going to have a live painting activation by Sora's Rachel and Rebecca Crouch. And they'll be doing a live painting and that we'll be auctioning off at the event. We have the gift bags. I can't even, you're not ready. So it's going to be a beautiful opportunity to come together, to be with other women, to share each other's stories and to learn and grow from each other. So I'm very much looking forward to it.
And Phyllis Newhouse is my mentor, billionaire Phyllis Newhouse. When she invites you to something, I'm an AKA skewy, but I said, if I can come over there and I can sit at a table and chill out with the Deltas, I'm going to do it. So I'm a primary care physician in Atlanta, Georgia, in Lawrenceville, one of the suburbs. And my passion and who I take care of at The Healthy Woman is women of color, where everywhere else we are marginalized. Black women are marginalized. I put y'all on a pedestal and I take care of you. So if you're going to sit at my table, what we're going to talk about is perimenopause. That's the buzzword right now. That's what's going on. And I am an expert in perimenopause, menopause, that midlife shift, weight loss, energy, mental health, drinking your water, supplements, all that. So if you sit at my table, that's what we're going to talk about. And so I'm just so excited to cancel clinic, get on a flight to DC from Atlanta, and see you guys there. So you guys need to get your ticket because there's only 60 left.
So Dr. Barbara Joy Jones, first of all, sis, your table, man, I know I'm hosting a conversation. I need to come over to your table too.
I'll be at your table.
I mean, everybody is talking about that's such an important topic. And shout out to the I Don't Care Club.
Yeah.
Shout out to the I Don't Care Club. So powerful, so powerful. And I think what's so beautiful about this is the bond of sisterhood just across organizations in celebration of sisterhood. And Vita Ali, she's not on camera. I know she's here. And yes, that is Vita Ali of Ben's Chili Bowl, y'all. If you ever been to Washington, D.C. and you heard of Ben's Chili Bowl, had a half smoke, that is Vita Ali, her family. Shout out to Miss Virginia Ali, who we love. Vita, always so good to see you. Welcome, Vita. Tell us, you are a table host as well. Thank you. Tell us about why you have joined.
Yeah, just to add to all those who spoke before me, today to me is a glimpse of what Building the Bond brunch is about. It really is, like as we all sitting in our own seats, we realize together how much stronger we really are. And to me, Building the Bond, you come in thinking, sometimes you think you're fighting the world by yourself, especially today. You feel like only you going through this struggle, or is there a sister out there experiencing the same thing? And I think when you enter a space such as we've created with Building the Bond, you kind of feel like but not only are we all in this together, we all have each other's back. So you leave with your heart filled and just warmth of like you've just been hugged by 100 sisters. And I hope those who are listening and those who, if we only have 60 tickets left, but if you're listening or a sister who needs that type of uplifting or inspiring, or can be one of those who inspire those in the room, I hope you can share. And I can't wait to share my story and uplift those who join my table.
We're so grateful to have you, Vita, be a part of this, and Dr. Barbara Jojo. I'm actually going to sit at your table. I'm just going to go ahead and call that out. So I saw a couple of questions. There are 10 seats at each table, and there is one special host at each table. So there'll be 9 guests. We are allowing our VIPs and sponsors to get first choice, but we ask you to rank your choices, and we'll try to sit you with one of your top 3 choices. But we really are excited about this gathering where all women will just come together. Doesn't matter who you are, what your income is. We really try to make sure that we made tickets equitable. So there were different levels so anyone could purchase. Of course, some sold out faster than others. But we're really looking forward to this event, and we really hope that you all will come out and support the work of Delta.
Thank you so much. And before we close out and I turn it over to Madam President, Brandon, there were some questions, some texts that I got. So I'm going to ask you this so it is on the record.
Yes.
There are 2 questions. So I know the answer, but I want you to answer. Okay. Do you have to be a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated to attend this event?
You absolutely do not have to be a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated to attend. You just have to be and identify as a woman.
The second question is, do you have to be in a sorority to attend this event?
You absolutely do not have to be in a sorority. You just have to be and identify as a woman.
Okay, y'all heard it here. You just have to be and identify as a woman to be at this event. Y'all, there are 60 tickets left. I dare
57.
say,
57.
oh, so 3 have already gone in the last
Mhm.
5 minutes. So
Yes.
57 tickets left. This event is happening at the Salamander Hotel in Washington, D.C. on July 8th, starting at 10:30, 11 a.m. So July 8th at Washington, D.C. We hope that you could come. I'm going to give it to President Elsie Cook Holmes to close us out.
Thank you. So I see a couple of other things in the chat in terms of questions. It's not a virtual event, it is an in-person event. I do want to recognize that we have on the call this evening the person whose brainchild this is. This is our sister Phyllis Newhouse. She is on the call this evening. As you heard, Dr. Jones indicated she's her mentor. And at this point in time, I'll have to tell you that we've all adopted our honorary member, Newhouse. We want her to be our mentor as well. So we are very excited that she is going to come, and we know how busy she is. So this is a very, very special treat. So she's jumping on now. So I don't know
There
if
she is. Yes, she
Yeah.
is. If you could come off of mute, we would love to hear you say some words. I know this must feel and just it's just so much power. Thank you for your vision for this Sora Newhouse.
Yes.
I don't know if we can hear her, but you are permitted to speak if you want to come off of mute. But we have her here. But let's just show her some love in the chat, you all. Oh, there you are.
Oh, good evening, everyone. I've been sitting back tonight and I just, boy, my heart is smiling and just crying at the same time. All this, the beautiful dialogue that I've heard tonight. I even had a couple of my sisters and nieces join the call. But I'm excited, and Madam President, and thank you for just taking a chance on this luncheon. Building the bond is really a powerful moment. I think that most people will walk away and they will be so inspired to take action. And whether it's about your health, whether it's about your wealth, or whether it's just about your place in this nation, those are the conversations that we hope to curate at each table. The table host that you've heard Sora Brandolin talk about. There is just some powerful conversations that will take place. But I think there will be so many takeaways that you'll be inspired to go to someone else and say, "Let me tell you what I've learned. I have to share this information." And so it's a powerful way for not only us, it's about sharing our rocks, resources, opportunities, and connections. And then when we share our rocks, we don't just change one life, we change our communities and we change the nation. So that's what I'm most excited about. So thank you for giving us this platform for the opportunity to invite others to attend and come and be a part of building the bond.
Oh, wow. Thank you all so much. I'm so excited about this. Sora Newhouse, you are my mentor in my head. So I'm just going to go ahead and let you know that. But thank you so much. I hope that if you are in and around Washington, D.C., or you can get to Washington, D.C. on July 8th, if you could get there, you can get on a morning flight. You could fly in that morning and fly out that afternoon. So you don't even need a hotel. So you could just fly in on that first flight coming in, get over to the Salamander, then get back home wherever you're going. We would love to have you there. I think there's 57 tickets left. Oh, no. How many?
Got 9 orders in, so whatever that math is, I was in English school.
Okay. Okay. So there are about 50 tickets left. So there's about 50 tickets left. So we hope that you can join. And this is a beautiful celebration of the bond of sisterhood, really, which has been a theme of tonight. Thank you all for joining us. I appreciate you all so much, and sending a big virtual Win with Black Women hug to each of you that are out there tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All
And we
right.
look forward to seeing everyone who can come. Absolutely.
Yay, absolutely.
Thank
Well,
you. Good night.
sisters, thank you. Well, sisters, I know we went a little bit longer tonight because we had to really start our we could Win with Black women, we were born out of the need to make sure that we're speaking truth to power. So we got to go a little bit longer. I know some of you may have to go, but we had to talk about the budget and the Supreme Court cases. But y'all know many people are getting ready to take their boots on the ground to New Orleans, home of Mayor Latoya Cantrell, who's a proud sister of Win with Black Women, who's joined us many times for Essence Festival of Culture. Essence Fest is coming. I want to show this video. We are so proud to be in partnership with Essence Fest, and Win with Black Women is going to be in New Orleans. And our sister Christina Q, after you see this video, is going to come up and going to tell you all about how you can find Win with Black Women and what you can do to find us and to participate with us here in New Orleans. Yes, so amazing. And I saw that AT&T, one of the sponsors of Essence Fest. Shout out to Tanya Lombard. Shout out. Yes. Christina Q, over to you, sis.
Hi, Joteka, and hello, Women with Black Women. We are so excited to be partnering with Essence Festival for the first time for the 2025 Essence Festival of Culture in New Orleans. And so we just wanted to come on the call tonight to remind you that we will be there. We actually have a booth in the community resource marketplace. So that's, if you've ever been to Essence, there's a whole marketplace. A lot of vendors will be in the community section talking about Women with Black Women, engaging with the women, letting them enjoy our photo booth, our lounge. We're going to have some fans with Women Black Women on them. We're going to have buttons and things to give away to you all because we want to see you all. We want to engage with you all. We're also going to have key women leaders of the organizations, many of the folks that you see on the calls all the time. They will be also joining us throughout the days. And 4th, 5th, and 6th are the official days of Essence Festival. We will be there a few days earlier to set up, but we will make sure we have a whole team that's also there as well. That will be helping support this effort. So shout out to the Women Black Women team that has been helping me coordinate all this behind the scenes, as well as the team that will be on the ground. It is a whole effort, and we are super, super excited. This year's theme for Essence Festival is We Are Made Like This, honoring Black culture with intentional and impactful experiences and nonstop entertainment that spans generations. So we are thrilled and excited to be a part of Essence Festival. The way that you can connect with us and follow the journey, even if you're not going to be on if you're not going to be in New Orleans with us, you're also welcome to just follow us on social media, help us amplify what we're doing, because we'll be going live, we'll be showing what's happening at the booth, and because we want you all to stay connected and engage with us from afar, even if you're not on the ground with us. But for those of you that are, we would love to meet you, because we know we're oftentimes on the Zoom and not in person. So we cannot wait to see you, hug on you, and love on you, and just enjoy everything the Essence Festival has prepared for us to bring to you all tonight. And so just wanted to make sure we gave you those announcements. You also can follow at Essence Fest for anything related to the Essence Festival, to find out about details on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And of course, you can follow us at Women with Black Women on all of our socials as well. So thank you so much, Joteka. And I am going to turn it over to my sister in this movement, Miss Chantel Mullen, for our announcements. Thank you, Chantel.
Thank you, Q. Thank you. Thank you. Y'all, I've been waiting. We decided we were going to have a pajama party and after hours. I already got my PJs on. So for those of you joining us, go get your PJs right after the announcement. I've got a couple of announcements for everybody. All right. So our next Sunday call is going to be on July the 13th. And so make sure that you lock your calendars in, save that date. It's happening at 8:30 p.m. And it's the same bit.ly that we use, but if not, we got the QR code right there for you. We've got some all-state meetings coming up. There will be one on July the 14th. Remember, there's 2 calls that happen on the all-state meeting. The Eastern and Central Time
zone states will happen at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and then the Mountain and Pacific time zones plus Hawaii and Alaska will happen at 8:30 p.m. There will also be calls happening on August the 11th and September the 8th. Win with Black Women District of Columbia, they are shouting out a community health and wellness fair that will happen on July the 19th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's happening at the River Church of South Maryland. And so they're going to have lots of activities, some free screenings, lots of free health screenings that are happening. So please join if you are nearby. Save the date. Win with Black Women Arizona. They are going to have a Me Period film screening on July the 20th. We'll have more details, but if you want to watch the trailer, you can scan that QR code there. And it explores, Me Period, explores the beauty and complexity of how we navigate sensitive conversations about our bodies and our periods. And this is happening in partnership with the Black Women's Health Imperative. Sister Tamika Booker, she is going to have a webinar on Monday, June the 30th at 12 p.m. Eastern time. And her webinar is focused on why we lead, Black women owning space in politics and consulting. And she has a special guest that will be joining her, Sister Jasmine Sessions. Don't forget the annual legislative conference from the Congressional Black Caucus. Save those dates, September the 24th through the 28th. Don't forget, they currently have early bird pricing. It ends on September the 5th. And so go ahead and register. You don't want to miss it. It is a great place for you to go and hear and have policy discussions. You can hear directly from members of the Congressional Black Caucus. You can talk to them and interact with them. It is a great conference to attend. Just a reminder, the Disability Community for Democracy is holding their virtual rally on Saturday, July the 12th from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern time. This is focused on stopping RFK Jr.'s autism registry. So join those sisters who are doing that work. Don't forget, we are still holding our candid candidate conversations. We have had a litany of conversations with a lot of our sisters that are running for office. We actually just updated our calendar. So we have some new dates that are available. The conversations that we have already had with our sisters, they are available on the Win with Black Women and the Sisters Lead, Sisters Vote YouTube channel. So make sure that you are supporting those sisters and sharing that information. And if you are a sister who is running for office in 2025, if you know a sister who is running for office in 2025, and she wants to join us for a candid candidate conversation, make sure that you sign up on the link using the QR code available so we can get you on the schedule. Lastly, if you are a Black woman who is running for office, Sisters Lead, Sisters Vote is still doing their Black Women Run, where they gather all of the information about Black women who are running for office, and they are promoting those Black women and amplifying their elections. They have a phenomenal yearbook that is on the Sisters Lead, Sisters Vote website, where you can see all of the Black women who ran for office in 2024. They are building that yet again. So if you want to be part of that, scan the QR code or use the bit.ly link below. Don't forget, if you have any opportunities, funding, consulting, jobs that you would like to share in the Win with Black Women weekly email, send those to Jewel Love. And you send those to her at info@winwithblackwomen.org. The subject line is Jewel Loves Attention. Jewel sends out those wonderful emails every week with all of the opportunities. We want to make sure that sisters know what opportunities there are that are available for them. Make sure that you get those to Jewel each week on Thursday by 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, if you have any announcements that you would like on the Sunday call, you can also send those to info@winwithblackwomen.org, subject line announcements. Just make sure that you get them to us by the Saturday before the call, Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And don't forget, if you'd like to give a little love offering to our sisters at Win with Black Women, here is our C4 donation link. You can donate or share and donate. It's always there for you. And with that, Joteka concludes all of our announcements for tonight. I'm gonna go.
You got your PJs. You are ready.
Taking it back old school. We talked about this last.
I know.
That
it's the pajama party in after hours, y'all. And you know what? It has been a beautiful call tonight. And I know some of y'all got y'all pajamas on. And for those of you who might have been joining for the first time, after we close in the spirit, we have after hours. And so there are rooms that you could join. If you click on the button on the bottom, you'll see breakout rooms. When you go into a breakout room, you're not watching like you're watching a webinar. You're actually in conversation. It's like being in a regular Zoom meeting where you could talk to each other. And so those rooms are being assigned now. And so we're super excited for you. There's Let's Talk with Holly. There is Sisters Checking In with Sister Chantel and the pajama party. We have our federal workers and those interested in conversations and resourcing and supporting federal workers happening. And there may be a Essence Fest. I'm going to Essence Fest breakout room that's happening. So if you're going to Essence Fest and you want to hear more about connecting with other sisters from the Win with Black Women, I tell you, one of the things when I am traveling around the country, I meet so many women say, I was one in 44,000. I was one in 44,000 as well. Here's an opportunity to meet some of the 44,000 at Essence Fest, and you can hop in the breakout. And one thing I will say is that we had 44,000 on Zoom, but there was probably another 100,000 people who were watching our Zoom. So really, it was about 144,000 of us. But it's so powerful, and we love to see you. It's been a beautiful night. Sisters, you're going to get a lot of emails from us in the next coming days that are going to be super, super important. You are going to get a call to action and a request for you to take action on this big, bad, ugly bill. And you're going to get a social media toolkit on that. I want you to make sure you share it. We're going to send an open letter, an opportunity for you to sign. We want to try to get thousands of Black women to sign on to this open letter. So we want you to just send it to as many people as possible. That's so important. You're going to get more information about the State of the People programming and how you can support the State of the People's programming. You're going to get a recap email for all the great things you heard in this call, all the resources, all the links, and you're going to get more information and all the links about the great projects and music and web pages of all of those great women in music, the projects that they're working on so that you can support. And of course, you're going to get all of the announcements and links that you heard tonight. So there's a lot. But the most important thing we hope that you do is get your rest and get your joy. And with that, the word joy, we're going to close in the spirit with a video shouting out and showing love for Proud Month.
There is no hierarchy of oppressions by Audre Lorde. I was born Black and a woman. I am trying to become the strongest person I can become, to live the life I have been given, and to help effect change toward a livable future for this earth and for my children. As a Black, lesbian, feminist, socialist, poet, mother of two, including one boy and member of an interracial couple, I usually find myself part of some group in which the majority defines me as deviant, difficult, inferior, or just plain wrong. From my membership in all of these groups, I have learned that oppression and the intolerance of difference come in all shapes and sizes and colors and sexualities, and that among those of us who share the goals of liberation and a workable future for our children, there can be no hierarchies of oppression. I have learned that sexism, a belief in the inherent superiority of one sex over all others and thereby its right to dominance, and heterosexism, a belief in the inherent superiority of one pattern of loving over all others and thereby its right to dominance, both arise from the same source as racism, a belief in the inherent superiority of one race over all others and thereby its right to dominance. Oh, says a voice from the Black community, but being Black is normal. Well, I and many Black people of my age can remember grimly the days when it didn't used to be. I simply do not believe that one aspect of myself can possibly profit from the oppression of another part of my identity. I know that my people cannot possibly profit from the oppression of any other group which seeks the right to peaceful existence. Rather, we diminish ourselves by denying to others what we have shed blood to obtain for our children. And those children need to learn that they do not have to become like each other in order to work together for a future they will all share. The increasing attacks upon lesbians and gay men are only an introduction to the increasing attacks upon all Black people. For wherever oppression manifests itself in this country, Black people are potential victims. And it is a standard of right-wing cynicism to encourage members of oppressed groups to act against each other. And so long as we are divided because of our particular identities, we cannot join together in effective political action. Within the lesbian community, I am Black, and within the Black community, I am a lesbian. Any attack against Black people is a lesbian and gay issue, because I and thousands of other Black women are part of the lesbian community. Any attack against lesbians and gays is a Black issue, because thousands of lesbians and gay men are Black. There is no hierarchy of oppression. It is not accidental that the Family Protection Act, which is virulently anti-woman and anti-Black, is also anti-gay. As a Black person, I know who my enemies are. And when the Ku Klux Klan goes to court in Detroit to try and force the Board of Education to remove books the Klan believes hint at homosexuality, then I know I cannot afford the luxury of fighting one form of oppression only. I cannot afford to believe that freedom from intolerance is the right of only one particular group, and I cannot afford to choose between the fronts upon which I must battle these forces of discrimination wherever they appear to destroy me. And when they appear to destroy me, it will not be long before they appear to destroy you.
Sisters, the incredible Audre Lorde, to close us out, powerful words to remind us that our sisterhood, our collective sisterhood,